Hello everyone and welcome to Joe's Games TV. A lot has been said all over the internet in the debate between light and heavy armor in Skyrim, and the general consensus is that any armor type will allow you to get into the armor cap of 567. But that is just the end of the story, and not so much has been said about the beginning. How do the two armor categories stack against each other for the starting character? And this is perhaps an even more delicate subject since it is at the beginning of the game that your character is most vulnerable and does not have many tools at their disposal. So what I'm going to show you here is a comparison of the armors available in each category at the start of the game. A character with 15 skill in both light and heavy armor will be equipped with a full set of leather armor and a full set of iron armor, and will be put in harm's way in them, as well as using no armor to compare the actual protective qualities of leather and iron armor. The first enemy our not-so-volunteer will be facing is a lowly wolf. The game has been set to Master difficulty so that the wolf does some amount of damage. Now, let's get to the wolf's location. And here it is. First attack while unarmored, and the damage received was 15 points. A healing potion will take care of the damage so that the next hit is not obscured by natural regeneration. The second attack does 10 points of damage. And we take another potion. For the third attack, it's 15 damage again. Another potion to take care of that, and we'll put some leather armor on to see the effects it has over the wolf's attacks. And the first attack against leather armor hits for 8 points of damage. Potion like before, and ready for the next attack. This one causes 12 points of damage. Another potion, and 8 points of damage this time. On to iron armor after a potion. Wait for the first hit and 8 damage. Potion and 8 damage again. One more potion. And it's 12 points of damage once more. Let's put all of that together and see how different they are in terms of protection. The wolf has two different attacks that cost 10 or 15 points of damage to an unarmored character. When putting on leather armor, these numbers are reduced to 8 and 12. The damage received with the iron armor is exactly the same, no difference whatsoever. Okay, this is possibly due to rounding issues with the low damage done by the wolf. Let's look for a more powerful opponent. How about a saber cat? Those pack quite a punch and can be absolutely deadly to a starting character. Since we need to avoid having our volunteer be one hit killed by the saber cat, difficulty will be toned down to adept for this test, and reloads will be done to avoid running out of potions. Here it comes for the first attack, with against no armor, and... Come on, play along, kitty. $53 damage, now we're talking. This time it's 3 potions to get back to full health. Wait for the second attack and... 53 again, okay, more potions. Let's go for the third strike and... Too close for 70 total damage. This is looking much better. Reload and let's wear the leather armor. .43 damage. This time the armor saved us from using one potion. Second attack and... double claws again for 57 damage. Time for 3 potions again before the next attack and... and the cat seems to have gone blind. Okay, that's better. It's 43 damage again. Reload and on to iron armor. First attack and... bite for 42 damage. Okay. Potions and brace for the second attack. 42 again. More potions and the last attack. Close for 56 damage. Okay, we have our data, let's look at the results. The results this time at least show there is a difference between light and heavy armor. The saber cat, just like the wolf, has 2 attacks that cause 53 points of damage with the bite or 70 points of damage with the 2 claw attacks to an unarmored character. Leather armor brings the damage down to 43 and 57, while iron armor is 42 and 56. That is the difference, 1 damage point. If we consider a starting character has 100 health total, this means that 1. An unarmored character will die in 7 to 10 wolf attacks if we don't factor network regeneration. Adding either leather or iron armor increases this to between 9 and 13, but both types give the same benefit. And 2. A more dangerous opponent like a saber cat will kill a starting character in 2 hits if no armor is worn. And even though iron armor is marginally more protective than leather, a starting character will still die in at most 3 hits, which makes the difference between leather and armor completely irrelevant. I hear you say, wait, we all know heavy armor has to protect more than light armor. Actually, the difference begins to be more noticeable as skill levels increase, but the difference is not quite as dramatic as it would be expected. Similarly skilled characters in light and heavy armor at 35 skill, with the equivalent perks 2 levels of Agile Defender and Custom Fit for light armor, and 2 levels of Juggernaut and Well Fitted for heavy, will boast damage reductions of approximately 31% with Elven armor and 36% with Dwarven, both tempered to superior quality. This translates to 1 or 2 points of damage difference in the saber cat scenario described above. This gap will increase as both skills go up and add perks, resulting in heavy armor using characters hitting the 80% damage reduction cap sooner than light armor users. Additional calculations indicate that a heavy armor character wearing steel plate armor tempered to flawless quality will hit the cap of 567 displayed armor rating at skill 90 with all relevant perks, Juggernaut 5, Well Fitted and Matching Set. A similarly skilled light armor user, skill 90, Agile Defender 5, Custom Fit and Matching Set, wearing flawless scaled armor will still have a displayed armor rating of 474, which gives about 69% damage reduction. However, the difference is barely 11%, and a little additional work on the light armor user will bring him up to par with the heavy armor user. Once we bring the weight of the armor sets in, we see that our starting characters in leather and iron armor carry 12 and 46 points respectively, which amounts to 4% and 15% of total carrying capacity. At higher quality armors, this can be more dramatic as the 75 versus 7 in Dwarven versus Elven armor, but that is an extreme example and things could come back under some measure of control in the scaled versus steel plate example, which weigh 12 and 59 respectively. It is true that both trees have perks that eliminate armor weight, but heavy armor needs a skill level of 70 for this perk, and spending 2 additional perks in essentially useless things like Fist of Steel and Cushioned, whereas light armor has the same things available at skill level 50 with only custom fit as a requirement, and in the path to Windwalker, which although not a required perk, can be quite useful. Finally, stealthy players will have a much easier time if wearing light armor instead of heavy armor, since the total armor weight is factored into the sneak effectiveness. Magic using enemies will be just as dangerous to both types of armor, since armor does not affect magical damage unless of course it is appropriately enchanted. In summary, heavy armor does offer a slightly faster way towards the armor cap, but at a significant disadvantage to encumbrance and speed. In the end, the choice as to what type of armor to wear should be made mostly in terms of what you feel is more fun, since neither armor type will give you a definitive edge over the other. I hope you find this information useful. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe, and until next time, JustGameTV out.